Hey, it's Tyler from Rehab to Fab Designs, and today we are going to be making over this bench using Dixie Belle's new Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint in a color called Everglades. Here's a look at what it looked like before we got started. It's a cute little antique piece, but obviously it's seen better days. We're going to revamp it, and look how amazing this color is. It's great for a cute little accent piece to add a pop of color in any room. We're going to start by scuff sanding the piece. We're doing this so we can smooth out our surface so it'll be nice and smooth for our new paint finish, and also to remove any grime, any dirt, any dings on it, and just to smooth the wood itself, because it is an old piece and it had a couple of little splintered pieces on it, and nobody wants to get a splinter in their finger. So we're going to sand it down and get it nice and smooth. As we all know, breathing in the dust from this sanding dust and tannins can be harmful. So make sure you wear your protective gear to keep yourself nice and protected. Once I got the piece completely scuff sanded, it was time to clean it because we want to have a nice clean surface to put our paint on. For that, we are using White Lightning by Dixie Belle. It is a trisodium phosphate or TSP type cleaner and degreaser, and I clean all my pieces with it before applying any paint because I want to make sure I get off any grime. So it comes in granule form. You just mix it simply with some warm water and shake it up to dissolve, and you can put it in any spray bottle you have handy. I just happen to have an old alcohol bottle that I added a spray top to. You're going to want to keep applying your White Lightning and spraying it and cleaning it and wiping it until you get a nice clean cloth, whatever you're using to wipe it back with. So just keep applying it, keep wiping it back till you get it nice and clean, and then it's not a bad idea to go over it also with just a clean towel and some water to get off any of the cleaner residue. All right, here is the new color called Everglades from Dixie Belle Paint Company. This is one of their new silk mineral paints. It is an all-in-one paint, meaning it has a built-in top coat. However, if you would like an extra coat of protection, they do make a top coat specifically made to use with it, and it is called Extra Coat. The silk mineral paints from Dixie Belle have a really nice matte finish to them, in my opinion, so I really like them, especially when you use the black color, but they just dry really nice and matte. You want to make sure you give them a nice stir before you get started. I am using a hockey stick, or also known in the medical profession as a tongue depressor. You can also use a little plastic spoon or whatever you have handy just to give it a nice little mix and make sure all those pigments are well blended. Next, I'm going to be using a Dixie Belle flat medium brush. This is a synthetic brush. I choose to use synthetic brushes on most all of my projects just because it's my personal preference. Dixie Belle has a line of different brushes that you can choose from in both synthetic and also natural bristles. So just get used to them, see what you like, play around with all of them, and choose whichever one you think works best for your project. I'm going to apply a total of 2 coats of this gorgeous new color from Silk to this little bench, and then we'll see what we do next. Stay tuned. Keep in mind that silk paint is self-leveling and does not have the same qualities as chalk mineral paint in the sense that you can work it multiple times. So apply it in nice, smooth, long streaks and go back over it to make sure you don't have brush strokes. And then you're going to want to leave this alone and let it self-level and dry. Once you've finished applying your first coat of silk mineral paint, you're going to want to let this dry completely. I would give it at least an hour, possibly 2, depending on the weather conditions outside. Then you can come back in and safely apply your second coat using the same manner and allow to dry once again. When I got this bench, it had this cute little fabric that was on it, and I actually really loved the fabric. I love the contrasting color of the fabric with this bright green. However, it was a very thin seat, as you can see here. It had no cushion to it. It was basically just like sitting on the plywood underneath. So I did decide to go ahead and add some foam cushioning to make it a lot thicker and more comfortable, and then because of that, I'm having to recover it. I would have loved to have been able to salvage this fabric because I just love the design. However, it was way too short underneath, and I did not have enough fabric to be able to add the cushion that I wanted and still have that same fabric fit over the new seat. So we're going to have to replace that as well, sadly. I believe I picked up this foam cushion from Home Depot, but it's been several years back. I picked it up and it was actually in a much larger size, and I've used it actually to replace a couple of seats on different benches. So I went around the shape of my seat initially using a pencil just to draw out the size and shape, and then I came in with a sharp box cutter knife and just kind of went right over top of my pencil marks. You have to do it kind of a couple of times because this foam is very thick, so you'll have to go through it at least 2 times, possibly 3, to make sure you cut all the way through the foam. Okay, so now that we have a nice big thick cushion to put on our seat, we are going to recover it. This is a fabric that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. If you're smart and pay attention to the sales from Hobby Lobby, you'll know that they always have their items on sale. Usually every other week it rotates between like half the store and then the next week the other half of the store. So try to buy it when it's on sale to save you some money, because we all know that we need to save money on our projects so we can have more income earned. We're going to flip our fabric over upside down and then lay our newly cut out cushion and base of the seat on our fabric, and then we're going to fold the corners in and get ready to attach it. I'm attaching it just using a Stanley stapler. You can also use an adhesive spray if you want to. Typically I'll put that on my foam cushion in between that and the plywood, but I just really hated to cover up this tulle type fabric because I love it and it's old and original to it, I think, and I just hated to cover it up in case I wanted to change my mind later. So I'm just wrapping my fabric simply around the seat and then stapling it in place. If you've ever recovered anything, I am no professional by any means, and the corners are the worst. I basically just tuck them in and roll them around until I get a nice smooth straight corner, and that's it. I don't have any advice for you guys. I just keep working it until I get it to where it looks decent, and then I staple it in place and move on to the next. Once my silk paint is good and dry, it's time to come in and seal this piece so we have good durability. I am using extra coat for that. It is basically just that, one extra coat of top coat just for added durability for this silk mineral paint. I'm going to apply it using a sponge from Dixie Belle. You want to make sure you shake your product really well. I am going to pour a little bit out on a paper plate here. That way I can dip my sponge into it and get nice even coverage across the surface of my sponge. And then we're going to simply wipe it in place over the entire bench. People are sometimes intimidated by top coats, but there's really no need to be. They're pretty easy as long as you don't overwork the product. For this, I am applying it on my sponge. I'm dragging across the surface as minimally as I can get by with, so 1 or 2 strokes just to make sure there are no streaks left over from my applicator, and then that's it. You don't want to keep working over it back and forth. Just put it on, wipe out any streaks, get it nice and smooth, and then move on to the next portion, allowing it to dry in between. All we have left to do now is attach our seat back to the base on this bench. We are just using some screws to screw the bottom portion right into the plywood on the bottom of the seat, and that's it. And it's holiday season and I work too much, so I haven't gotten pictures of it with the new seat on, but here's what it looked like when I snapped some photos of it just to highlight that gorgeous new color from the Silk Mineral line. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. As always, we appreciate you watching, and please be sure and subscribe to the Dixie Belle and Rehab to Fab Designs YouTube channels.